Greeting, fellow adventurers and dungeon delvers. Welcome back to Nerdy. Today we're venturing into an intriguing discussion inspired by Neal Litherland's article on the Improved Initiative blog titled The 5 RPG Characters You Should Stop Playing. These are the Bigot, the Jokester, the Mute, the Hedonist, and the Misanthrope. It's not just about the pitfalls. As we delve into each character type, we'll discuss why they can be challenging and offer sage advice on how to play those roles effectively without falling into common traps. We're here to help you create characters that are memorable and enrich the gaming experience for everyone at the table. If you're curious about Neal Litherland's original article, we'll include a link in the description below for you to check out. So sharpen your pencils, roll out your character sheets, and dive into the do's and don'ts of D&D character creation. Ready? Let's roll. First on our list is the Bigot. The character's prejudice can be deeply problematic and potentially triggering for players. Remember, themes of racism and bigotry should always be approached with the utmost sensitivity and respect for everyone at the table. Additionally, such characters risk being one-dimensional if bigotry is their only defining trait. So how do we handle this? First, ensure that bigotry isn't the sole aspect of your character's identity. A well-rounded character with depth allows for more meaningful interactions and character development. Now let's talk about the Ranger class. The Rangers have a feature called Favorite Enemy, which traditionally reflects a particular proficiency against certain foes. Unfortunately, this can unintentionally lean into negative stereotypes, especially if these enemies are sentient races. In our games, we reinterpret this feature. The Ranger has an intimate knowledge of their chosen creature or races. This expertise doesn't necessarily imply hostility. It can mean a deep understanding, respect, or even empathy toward them. It's up to the player to decide if their Ranger harbors animosity or is simply well-informed about their favorite enemy. This approach allows for a more nuanced interpretation that steers clear of reinforcing harmful tropes. Secondly, consider a redemption arc for characters that start with prejudiced views. Such a journey from ignorance to understanding not only adds depth to your character, but also enriches the group's experience. It's essential, however, to handle these stories with care and always be mindful of the impact on other players. To illustrate this impact of playing a bigot, let's consider two contrasting scenarios. The bad. In one game, a player created a character who was openly hostile to a particular fantasy race. This hostility caused tension in the game's story and among the players. It became uncomfortable as the character's bigotry overshadowed other aspects of the gameplay, leading to arguments and a negative atmosphere at the table. The good. Another player created a character with ingrained prejudices, but they used this as a starting point for a character development. Through the campaign, their character learned from other party members, leading to moments of realization and growth. The journey from bigotry to acceptance became a powerful narrative arc that enriched the game. Next, let's tackle the concept of the Jokester in D&D. It's important to distinguish between in-game and out-of-game joke characters. Out-of-game joke characters can be a delightful part of your gaming experience. They often serve as a fun inside joke among players or pay homage to beloved movies or books. Think of characters inspired by The Princess Bride, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. These references, when used appropriately, can add a layer of humor and camaraderie without detracting from the game. However, in-game joke characters need more careful handling. For instance, a character modeled after Johnny Bravo who constantly hits on other players and NPCs can quickly cross the line from funny to problematic. This kind of behavior can cause friction and annoyance within the group. It's vital to ensure that your character's humorous antics are respectful of other players' boundaries and contribute positively to the gaming experience. While humor is a fantastic tool to lighten the mood and enhance role-playing, it's crucial to balance it in a way that doesn't disrupt the game's flow or narrative. As a jokester, your goal should be to enrich the story and group dynamics, not overshadow them. So before fully committing to a joke character, consider the potential impact on the game and your fellow players. The best jokesters are those who can make everyone laugh while still engaging constructively with the campaign. The bad. A player modeled their character after a slapstick comedian, constantly interrupting serious moments with ill-timed jokes. This behavior broke immersion and frustrated other players who were trying to engage with the story and role-play their characters earnestly. But the good, another player chose a character inspired by witty literature using humor in a way that fit the game's context. Their jokes brought lightness to the intense situations without disrupting the narrative flow, and the player knew when to step back and let serious moments unfold, striking a perfect balance. Before we dive into this topic, it's crucial to clarify that we are discussing in-game characters who are mute, not players who may be deaf or mute. Our focus here is on the role-playing aspect of choosing to play a character without verbal communication in Dungeons & Dragons. Playing a mute character presents unique challenges in a game where communication is a key element. These challenges can include difficulties in role-playing, limited interactions with other players and NPCs, and potential misunderstandings during gameplay. Conveying your character's thoughts, intentions, and emotions becomes a more intricate task without verbal communication. To effectively play a mute character, collaboration with your dungeon master and fellow players is essential. Together, you can explore alternative communication methods for your character, such as gestures, written notes, or a special form of sign language. Additionally, consider the possibility of incorporating a magic item or ability in the game that facilitates nonverbal communication. This could be an amulet that enhances telepathy, or a familiar that can relay messages. Remember, while playing a mute character can add an intriguing dimension into your role-playing, it should not disrupt the game's flow or diminish the enjoyment of others, but it's important to ensure that this choice positively contributes to the group's collective experience. Alright, so let's take a look at two different experiences playing a mute character in D&D. The bad. In a campaign, a player decided their character would be completely silent. Their choice led to difficulties in the group communication, causing frustration during planning and combat as the character couldn't convey vital information effectively. The good. Another player's mute character used a combination of written notes and expressive gestures to communicate. The player worked closely with the DM to integrate this into the gameplay creatively, making the character's silence a unique and intriguing aspect rather than a hindrance. The hedonist character can indeed be an intriguing aspect of a character's persona. However, when these traits dominate the character's identity, they can quickly become disruptive and annoying to the others in the game. It's important to remember, while these elements can add depth and complexity to your character, they should be handled with nuance and sensitivity. A seduction bard, for example, can be charismatic and flirtatious without reducing every interaction to a romantic conquest. Similarly, a character who enjoys drinking or gambling can even have these as facets of their personality without becoming their only defining characteristic. When incorporating these hedonistic elements, consider how they impact not only your character, but also the group dynamic and the game's storyline. It's crucial to balance these traits in a way that respects the boundaries and comfort levels of all the players. If your character's actions start to detract from the overall enjoyment of the game, it might be time to reassess and recalibrate. Furthermore, think about how these traits can contribute to character growth and plot development. Perhaps your seduction bard learns the value of genuine connections, or your gambler faces the consequences of their actions. These arcs can provide compelling storytelling opportunities while ensuring that your character's hedonism doesn't overshadow the collaborative nature of the game. Ultimately, the key is to portray these aspects of your character thoughtfully and respectfully, ensuring they add to the game rather than detract from it. Always communicate with your fellow players and your dungeon master to gauge how these traits are being received and adjust accordingly. To understand the balance and need for playing a hedonist, consider these two scenarios. The bad. A player's character was a relentless flirt, constantly trying to seduce every NPC they encountered. This repetitive behavior became tiresome and uncomfortable, especially when it derailed the important plot points or made other players uneasy. The good. Conversely, a player created a hedonist character who was charming and loved life's pleasures, but knew when to be serious. This character's pursuit of enjoyment added depth and humor to the story without overstepping boundaries, and they often used their charisma to smooth over party conflicts, adding to the group cohesion. Now let's discuss the misanthrope, often seen as the lone wolf of the group. While this character type can be compelling, it's crucial to remember that Dungeons & Dragons is a team game. The challenge lies in integrating this loner into a cooperative group without disrupting the team dynamics. To illustrate this, let's look at some of the famous examples from pop culture and literature. Wolverine from the X-Men, Batman from the Justice League, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, and even the Punisher from Marvel Comics. Each of these characters is known for their loner tendencies, yet they have been integral members of teams. Wolverine was introduced as a member of the X-Men, where his solitary nature contrasts with but doesn't hinder his teamwork. Batman, despite his brooding persona, is a founding member of the Justice League and often works effectively with others. Aragorn, initially a solitary ranger, becomes the leader of the Fellowship of the Ring, guiding and uniting the group. The Punisher, known for his solitary crusade, has also been a part of several teams, showing that even the most solitary characters can collaborate when needed. These examples demonstrate that while your character may have misanthropic traits, they can still be a valuable and cooperative team member. The key is finding reasons for these loners to join and stay with the group. It could be a shared goal, a personal connection to another character, or a gradual change of heart. Whatever the reason, ensure that your character's lone wolf nature doesn't prevent them from being a productive part of the team. Different approaches to playing a loner can lead to vastly different outcomes, as these anecdotes show. The bad. A player chose to roleplay a loner who distrusted the group, often wandering off or refusing to participate in group decisions. This isolationist behavior caused in-game friction and made collaborative decision-making difficult, diminishing the group's enjoyment. The good. Another time a player also chose a lone wolf type character, but portrayed them as gradually opening up to the party. Over time, the character began to trust and support their companions, leading to satisfying narrative of personal growth and newfound camaraderie. What are your thoughts on these character types? Do you have experiences or tips to share? Let us know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more D&D content. Your support helps us create more videos like this. Until next time, keep your dice rolling, your imagination flowing, and remember to stay nerdy, my friends!